Who wants to break the news?
Kevin, want to break the news?
Okay.
So we saw Justice League.
We saw Justice League yesterday.
Last night.
We
last night.
saw him in public. He was getting ready for a role, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, there he is!"
I kept saying it when we were watching it. In a word, that movie is nonsense.
I also was saying that. I was like, this is nonsense. It makes no sense. What is going on?
Justice League is complete and utter nonsense. There's just so much. Every scene in the movie, just things just kind of happen, and most of it doesn't make any fucking sense.
So Brian, I want you to start from the beginning. What did you think before you saw it? Going into it, what did you think Justice League was going to be?
I thought it was going to be terrible.
Yeah, we all thought it was going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Like, every one of us was like, we're going to see it in 4-star because it's cheap, and we know we're not going to like it.
Even Wonder Woman still had some outliers that thought it might be good before the movie came out. And this movie, I think, we were all just kind of like, this is no hope.
I'll say this. I thought it was going to be terrible, but I saw that it was only 2 hours long.
I was like, this will be the best terrible one.
So,
it's only 2 hours long.
At the very least, it's not like Batman vs. Superman, where it challenges your ability to watch it.
Yeah.
But Justice League, I've never walked out of a theater before. Like, I've never walked out of a movie. Mm-hmm. This was the closest I've ever been to walking out of a movie. I did not want... Alec, I did not want to be in that theater anymore. Like, there was a point...
I was getting real sick of being there, too. I was just like... nothing on the screen was, resonating with me at all. Like, there's nothing there.
And nothing was going to make me... Like, it's not like the ending was going to have some crazy,
there was
insane
no way.
twist. Like, it's just they're going to beat Steppenwolf and the movie's going to...
Spoilers, they beat Steppenwolf. Superman comes in and beats the crap out of him. That's the end of the movie.
They beat Green Day.
And so, thinking that, Alec, it was halfway through the movie. After 1 hour, Sam Slater was like, we still have an hour left, and I wanted to leave. Because I was like, they're going to bring Superman back and they're going to beat the bad guy. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
This movie's already bad. It's not going to get better.
It's bad from minute one.
So why
the
would...
The first scene is awful. The first scene is
so it's the first scene is terrible and awful as the whole movie is. It's the same
that's not true. The first scene was very weird for me because the first scene isn't the first scene. The first scene is the iPhone video for whatever reason. So when that opened up, I was like, so there was two things running through my mind.
When they did that in Spider-Man Homecoming, it was awesome.
So there were two things going through my mind. One was, this is interesting. I don't know why they're copying Spider-Man Homecoming. And then I was like, why the fuck does Superman's face look weird?
They were totally copying Spider-Man because they shot that later.
I found out today because I was like, why the fuck does... Because I googled it, I was like, was his face CGI? Like the whole time I was like...
They totally put that in later because of Spider...
Because he had a mustache, yeah.
There's a few shots where you're just like, why is this part of him look fat? Yeah. And also, why is the top lip kind of... It just looks like...
Yeah, I was like, what is going... I was like, at first I didn't remember it, because I knew that beforehand, I just forgot it, but... I was like, wait, did they have to get an actor to replace him and they CG his face over? But then this morning I googled it and it's like, oh yeah, that mustache. And that was so fucking off-putting.
There's not even really any reason going into the story because it's so generic. Like everything that you think was going to happen happens. Nothing interesting.
Well, we can go into the fact that every scene is confusing and nonsense. Every time you go underwater with Aquaman, you're like, what are they talking about? What is this stuff they're talking about? The audience has no idea what they're...
So I just saw BVS this week. Our video just went up. And so that movie, the whole time, I was like, what's going on? None of this makes sense. All the characters are just doing things that movie. It has a really bad problem where characters will just act. And then it's almost like the movie knows why they're doing it, but the characters don't, and the audience doesn't, and it doesn't make any sense. And then later on, it's like, oh, they were doing that because of this. And this movie is like, oh, people loved that in BVS, so let's just make that literally every storyline where no character knows anything.
Well, every scene, it was like it didn't know what movie it was in. Like there were so many scenes where I'm like, okay, I know what's happening overall, like what. Like, Steppenwolf is literally going to kill the world or whatever.
Yes.
But the characters are not acting like that, or the scene is not acting like that, or... Like, there's just so many parts where you're just like, I don't feel the stakes that the movie set up at all.
Steppenwolf also looked like a lizard cutscene. He looked like a Diablo villain.
Yeah.
He looked terrible.
Yeah, he did.
He looked terrible. Cyborg looked god awful.
Oh.
And they didn't want to do the already terrible effects, so they kept putting him in a tracksuit.
I was really confused about Steppenwolf, because the whole time I was like, he doesn't seem, like, super, like... What is that? What's the word? Like, he doesn't seem so powerful where, like, you couldn't kill him with something normal. Because, like, all the Amazon ones were just shooting him with arrows, and he kept dodging them, or hitting him out of the way, where I was like, okay, so if he gets hit by an arrow, it's gonna hurt him. Right. It seems like.
Right.
But then he's, like, invincible.
And then Superman fights him.
And then Superman beats the crap out of him.
Well, here's a question.
Steppenwolf doesn't hit him once.
Is Steppenwolf the worst of these comic book movie villains?
Steppenwolf might be one of the worst villains. I don't know if he is the worst, though.
Has someone quote Steppenwolf?
Because he has literally no motivation. His design is terrible.
Oh, his design's
He's
awful.
barely in the movie, and when he's in the movie, he's not intimidating at all. He's not even played by a fucking celebrity.
Yeah, I was like, is there anybody who's playing him?
Well, what's his name? Mance Raider. That guy.
Oh, great. So Mance Raider.
Who?
Like
Mance from Game of Thrones, Mance Raider. The king
Mance
of the
Raider.
Like, even the bad villains in these superhero movies, like...
Are really just... This is like...
At least I can be like, oh, Jeff Bridges is an Iron Man.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
There's
the dude, he's in a robot suit.
He's generic, but he's also just completely
was a great
unthreatening,
villain.
and he's boring. Like, he's boring to look at, he's boring to watch do anything.
His main thing is an axe that I'm like, it's an axe.
Everything he says is so boring. Like he at some point, I think he just had said something
Also,
like, you'll see.
There was a point where
he has all right. So the plot, like when you put yourself in the shoes of a writer, and you're writing the next superhero movie. You have a few things that you have to do. Like, you know, people always complain about the superhero movies and how that's like, oh, they all have to have a big fight scene at the end. So let's just go with the assumption that the studios like have to have big fight scenes. So you have to have a villain that's like, I'm a big bad villain.
A villain named 9 Inch Nails.
Step one should be, let's set up the fucking villain. What does this villain do? What does he care about? Why is he evil?
He blows up planets, dude.
he has an axe and he kills planets, dude, with a box. He
What-
has 3 boxes and he really likes those boxes and he puts them together.
This
Which
movie
we
has
didn't learn
this-
until later, that you put them together and kill the world.
It has this huge problem where it's like it doesn't only expect you to know the world that it exists in. It expects you to like literally know everything.
Well, so I turned to Brian at one point. I was like, Brian, I've seen all of the DC movies. I have no idea what's happening. Like this does not relate to the other ones. Like, it doesn't
No.
feel like.
Well, it's like Aquaman has that conversation with that the one of the worst conversations in any movie
Yeah,
ever.
and
But she
she's
was like, you were abandoned by mother because you're lactose intolerant.
And that's why this is your responsibility, because you're the king of whatever, and you were left on the doorstep with my mother.
So
He's like, at least I didn't kill my father.
And she's like, and I was adopted by your mother for some reason.
And I don't know why they're saying any of this.
Also, with,
Also didn't learn
with that
anything.
Atlantis thing.
I don't care about my mom.
It was shot and edited very confusingly. Like, was
Alec
Atlantis
was shot underwater.
Was Atlantis a kingdom? Did we ever get an establishing shot of because like Wonder Woman Island, you get that big shot. It's pretty. You fly through the island. You know exactly where that little cave. It looks bad. Like that little cave that they hold this cube in looks terrible. It's just like a little circular hut. But you know where it is on the island. But then the underwater thing, it's just like they cut to this sanctum and there's some guards, but it looks like there's nothing around it.
It's probably 2 things. They probably didn't. I mean, how much did this movie cost to make? I bet you it's not as a lot. I feel like this one is less than the rest of them.
Well, a lot with the reshoots.
So
and also, I think because they probably cut an hour out of that.
They did. The original cut was 3 hours.
Yeah,
holy
cut
fuck.
an hour out.
And there's an hour cut out. That's why. One of the worst parts of the movie after Superman comes back, right, and then they just leave that really important box on a car.
Yeah, they all want to
nobody
go fight Superman, and Batman, the world's greatest detective, the smartest man in the world, forgets to take the box with him.
And Steppenwolf literally just
shows up and
shows
grabs
up and he picks it up and leaves.
So why
and that happens off camera too.
Yeah.
Like you just see the. Oh, I guess
That had to have been a
got
scene
it.
that they fought him, and they're like, "No, you can't take our box," and he takes it.
Well, yeah,
They're like, "This is stupid." We
That
just had
whole
an action
scene looked like it
sequence.
was reshot because Henry Cavill's face looked like it was all fucked up the entire time.
So quick question: why was Steppenwolf able to teleport?
I have no idea.
Why did he have that power?
I have no idea. I need always do it.
Well, because he had the first box.
Usually when
He teleported to the first
usually
box.
when superheroes have the power of teleportation,
They use it all
They
the
use it all the time because it's really
Also,
useful.
why
Like,
is
when
he
you're fighting
doing
someone,
it-
you can be behind them. and then be in front of them.
Why is he here now? Like, what is it about?
Because Superman's dead, even though Superman wasn't on the planet for 5,000 years.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was on the planet for 30.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Yeah, he was barely.
also-
And he was only Superman for one of those years.
And they were like, we got him, Superman's dead,
Also,
we can kill the world now.
If he had just come like 100 years before that, he like none of those
Like,
characters.
he could have showed up in 2008. He could have just been like, they have cell phones now, they're distracted, kill them.
Like he could have showed up like in the 1800s, and Superman wouldn't have been there for 200 years. Like he would have not been. They could have had the world for as long as he wanted.
Remember when Batman asks a very relevant question of why Wonder Woman, were you never a superhero, why do you just not do anything?
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's
And
like,
it's like, oh, because my boyfriend died.
and it's like, that
That
what the
boyfriend
fuck
that
is
I-
that? That
that-
doesn't make any sense.
That very fluid and organic relationship that I had in Wonder Woman is relevant now in this movie.
that guy I knew for 4 days in my thousands of years of life died.
So that means, so Brian, if you look at Wonder Woman's timeline now, like this movie has made it ridiculous. All right, so she comes to the mainland, right? Like she's in the real world. She fights Jesus. She kills Jesus. Then and her boyfriend dies, and then she goes home and does nothing for literally 100 years.
She becomes an art dealer.
Hitler comes to power, and she's like, no. I'm too fucking sad about some lame asshole that said he loved me right before he fucking died.
The Twin Towers happened.
So many things
Stop
happened.
9/11.
She didn't give a
She could have
shit.
stopped 9/11. That
She
selfish
could've-
piece
they
of
stopped
crap.
at least. They're like, we're gonna crash this plane into the Twin Towers and shit. Na, 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 na.
And she just grabs it and throws it.
Great part where she fights those terrorists
The
who wanted to blow up the
terrorists,
building, and she kept blocking the bullets with her
With her-
bracelets,
yep.
and then you swiftly realize how retarded that was.
Why didn't she just
It
go
looked
like that
really
and go up and
Why
punch
didn't
it?
she use
can
her
move at the
shield,
speed
which
of
is
light.
big?
Why didn't she just lead with that thing that she kills him with at the end? That
Yeah.
like didn't kill anyone else, assuming.
Or why didn't she go into the room punching instead of like? Because she had no problem punching any of those other people. So why did she have to
If
go
she
in
can run
there?
faster than a bullet, why didn't she just run up to him and stop him before he could shoot the
That's
gun?
what
and
I'm
just kick
saying.
his ass?
Yeah, why did she do that? Yeah.
Remember in the first scene with Cyborg, and it's shot like he's a villain and he acts like a villain?
He acts like a villain the whole movie.
I actually heard someone say that Cyborg was really charismatic in this movie, and I was
Cyborg's
like, "Are you
one of the
kidding
most
me?"
confusing characters. I have no idea what he's talking
Because
about
he's
most of the time.
shot and is acting like a villain. the
Well,
whole movie.
he acts like a depressed little emo kid. Like
And he's like
oh,
he's like
it's
the
so
key to
fucking
all of it.
sad.
Like he's the reason
He's
the world's
the
gonna
RoboCop
stop.
remake. That's
Yeah.
who he is.
He's like, why can I do this? And he starts flying. You're like, you're flying. He's like,
like, that's
why
a
am I?
cool
I'm a
thing.
monster.
This is gay. I couldn't fly yesterday.
I don't like the one thing that literally
he
every human's
accidentally
dreamed
hacks
about.
all of Batman's secret files. He's like, I hate this. I can see who Batman is. Gosh darn it.
That the rest was all complete crap, and I hated seeing.
There is one thing that they do that I like, and they're like, oh, I don't like Zack Snyder's Superman. Let's just make Superman a nice person.
Yes, Superman's completely different.
Yeah.
well, he had an arc because he
Back
died. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm happy, which is fine. But it was because it was when Flash comes to run up behind Superman, and then Superman just looks at him, and
Yeah,
Flash
that
is
was
like,
cool.
"What?
That has never happened.
That has never
That
happened."
is ridiculous.
Uh,
How does he know?
Literally, that moment only is the best. Is like the only part that's good.
So I
Well,
want
because it's a great visual way to show how strong Superman is.
Yeah, it was great.
Because everyone knows how great the Flash is and how he's the fastest ever, and having him just do that.
You're like,
And it was a really good.
man.
It was just like it was so like panning shot, and Superman's eye just goes like this and like looks to the side.
And not only
It's
that,
one of the
but,
only
like,
parts that got like a laugh or anything out of me.
but not just
Reaction,
that,
like
but,
a positive reaction.
But he was very scared because after he just put everyone else down, started going after him. He's like, "Oh my god! Oh no, that's okay. Well,
Well, it's
that's
also
okay. No,
because
I haven't hit you yet. It's okay."
You realize in that moment that like, oh, Flash is just a normal person besides being able to sprint. Like if Superman gets it,
Like, he doesn't have-
he doesn't.
If he gets shot with a gun, he dies.
Yeah.
There's also
He gets shot with a gun, and that never paid. Whoa! I just remembered something. He gets shot with a gun, and it's not relevant for most of the movie.
oh yeah, an alien bug shoots him in the leg, and then he's fine.
And then he's fine, like a scene later.
There's probably a scene that's cut out where Batman goes, "Here's some bat goo." Because he didn't do anything in this movie.
No,
He was the
Batman.
most irrelevant.
Remember
piece
in
of
the
dog
in the
shit.
end fight when they're like, okay, so Wonder Woman's doing this, she's fighting Steppenwolf. Aquaman, he's passed out because he got knocked out by Steppenwolf. He's also fighting
Cyborg's fucking with the
Cyborg's
cubes.
hacking a cube. What is Batman gonna do? And they're like, okay, he takes a gun from one of those bug things and
he's
shoots
like,
a bunch
he
of bugs that
provides
are off
covering
screen.
fire, yeah.
Like they don't even bother
There's
cutting
a
the
really
shots
funny-
of bugs dying.
There's
He's
a
just
really
going,
funny shot where he's just like, you can tell he's holding a CG gun and that he's like supposed to be pretending to shoot a gun. He's like,
they couldn't make a prop gun. Like they don't even cut away to him shooting anything.
No,
Like, it's just
no.
he is shooting at nothing. And it's like, there's Batman. He's saving all of us.
It's
get
like they
bailed out
took
all
the
fucking time.
they took the one thing that I liked, like genuinely liked about BVS, which was Batman.
They could have done like one
And
cutaway,
fucked it
like
up.
one cutaway where like a bug's about to grab Wonder Woman or something while she's doing something else, and it's like, and he
Yeah.
shoots it. But it's literally just him shooting at nothing,
There wasn't anything like.
which is like
Or
the
anything
like the most
oh,
basic
that's
thing you
cool.
can do. They were doing it the whole movie too, like that first action sequence with all of them in it, where they're like they were all doing something.
Well,
Like, they all had something to do.
and it's also like I get that they're trying to portray Batman as more like, oh, he's kind of older now, and he's not like young Batman. But even in the last movie, which only happened a few months ago, prior to this movie, he was kicking ass left and right. And this one, he couldn't even hold his hand
He was
against a
breaking
bug.
people's heads.
This movie.
I want to talk about bugs.
Follow me, you damn insects.
So,
Best line.
Greatest
The
line.
best line in the movie.
So bugs, right? All right. So why in the when we started making sci-fi movies, why did all of the aliens look like people? Like, why did they all have humanoid features?
So you can identify with them.
And practically, you can put a person in that costume. We've evolved past that by 50 plus years. We don't have to make like the thing that was so weird about these aliens is that they're all CG.
They could have been people in a suit.
Yeah,
they were all
but they're all
so why would
CG, and
look
they have very like they're all like they got hands and legs, but they also have wings. I was like, why do they look like that? There's no reason that they look like
I think
people.
lore-wise they look like that is because he's just taking people. He's convert like they said that in one scene where he takes,
Is it?
Yeah, he like
Yeah, they
he-
showed like when he was killing the Atlanteans. And
So
stuff, he
those
was
are
showing
all
the bugs.
basically like they're Amazon people or Atlanteans or like they're just all. Even though they all look the same, like they're all supposed to be a bunch of different people that he stole over the years.
But I like in my head, I was like, they're demons, like they're called demons. So why not push like the demonic element of it? Why not like make them look cooler than just like space bugs?
Yeah, and it's like, that's really confusing visually that they're space bugs.
Why are they following?
And
Like,
they're
do
from hell
the
or
cubes
whatever.
make them space
And
bugs?
he
No,
you know,
Darkseid makes them
and
space bugs.
Steppenwolf,
dude.
he
Steppenwolf
created all of
smashed
them.
her.
He's the reason they all exist because he stole them. He took people and like brainwashed them or whatever.
Right.
But they still
eat him at the
they
end.
eat him at the end because he's afraid. Like he can't control him enough to him to be like, guys, I know I'm afraid, but you don't have to eat me.
Their master's Darkseid,
'Cause-
dude.
They set that up in the beginning that they want to eat fear or whatever, like the It monster.
Yeah.
But they don't really play with that at all for the rest of it. Like there's never
Also,
a point in the movie where it's like
So
he's the
that-
most afraid. They're going after him.
In the first scene, they set up that if you capture one and tie one to a post, it'll just explode.
And leave 3
And
boxes.
leave 3
Oh, yeah, I
perfect
bought that stuff,
boxes.
Yeah, I see that's what I was gonna say earlier. Is like that scene perfectly tells everyone how terrible and confusing the movie is because like. It just like the movie will do something super confusing like that. Like, why did that happen? And
why did-
Batman or some other character will just be like,
Also, where do the bugs come from? Don't they come with Steppenwolf when he arrives, but that happens after?
Why do they leave evidence
scouts.
when they explode of the 3 boxes?
"Oh yeah," like so you're like, "Why did that happen?"
Why is
and
a-
some character will
why
just
is
be
a-
like, "That just happens." And
Why
like,
is a
like in
weird
that
village
scene,
in like Iceland or whatever just have a drawing of Atlantis on a bar wall?
Why did Batman let that criminal with the gun and like the stolen stuff get away after the bug exploded? He just let that guy go.
He even has a convo with
Well,
that,
because
with
he was
that
having-
criminal.
he was
That
having-
criminal was like, "You think everything's gonna be okay?" And he's like, "I don't know," or whatever. That's not how the conversation.
and he was
goes.
like,
They have a
"Alfred, I
back-
found another bug today. It exploded into those 3 cubes. Like it keeps happening." And I'm like, "What?"
And like that.
What are they talking
That criminal
about?
must feel like the coolest guy ever because he's like, Batman didn't even beat the shit out of me. I can just go and just murder someone and he won't stop me.
Yeah.
What is Batman gonna come back to kick my ass?
He's like, Are those bugs gonna hurt us, Batman?
Oh yeah,
it's like, no, those are bugs.
Where the fight is just they hit someone and they fly backwards,
fly,
and then they
throw,
hit. Steppenwolf, when he does that
Crap.
scene where he kills all those those Amazonians, it could have been cool if he was going around and had an axe fight with a bunch of Amazonians. No, he kept jumping like a rabbit and just hitting them, and then jumping and then hitting
So
them.
one of the things.
So boring to look at. Make it the Ray.
Because they
Right.
made because they decided to make Steppenwolf invincible and fighting Superman at the end and Wonder Woman, who are both also invincible. It leads to this a shot that I liked was when Superman first gets resurrected, he headbutts Wonder Woman so hard that her feet get planted in the ground. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And then he jumps up and headbutts her super hard so that she like it's crumpled into the ground. I was like, that's cool, but it just reminds me that Wonder Woman's invincible, and that doesn't matter because she doesn't feel pain. She can't die.
When she feels pain, she just can't die.
I mean, if none of your bones break, how much pain do you really feel?
Well, she looked like this. She went,
Ow.
ow, Superman, ow. Why'd
Oh
you hit
shoot!
me?
What was the line she said really horribly?
Ow.
Which one? She says all of them.
No.
This movie masterfully introduces all of Joss Whedon's greatest problems and Zack Snyder's greatest problems into one movie.
Like I didn't think they could find them all.
Also, I was
Put 'em all
watching
in the
it,
same
and
movie.
it looks more like a conventional movie, but I was like, I think I prefer what BVS looked like.
Well, yeah, BVS's problem was never really the look. Like Zack Snyder has a visual flair.
Like, that movie just looked like something else, and they changed it later.
Yeah,
Like, that's all it looked like. There was a lot of shots where it was like, looked really bright when it shouldn't have been.
like
You know?
like Marvel movies in general are better movies, but especially like BVS. BVS has a really interesting.
Especially this year.
BVS has a very interesting look to most of it. There are some scenes in BVS that look absolutely terrible. Like the color grading is all over the place in that movie. But the scenes that are graded well are graded really well. And they look really good.
This movie has some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard.
So-
Yeah, every
Oh
single
my
line.
God.
Every line of dialogue in this movie is terrible, especially coming from Batman. Batman has the worst dialogue ever. Like everything he says is embarrassing, generic. None of it plays with your conventions.
Remember
at all.
that one scene where Batman flipped back and forth between loving Superman and hating him? Where it's like, oh, Superman's the best thing that's ever happened to this world. Superman will never love you. Superman won't ever love me, but I love him. And like that's the
He's
scene.
my best friend.
That's that whole scene, and then it's like some people.
Where like a
want-
week ago he hated him and wanted to murder
Yeah.
him.
Why did you say that in your name?
Where
Right,
it sounds like he's always loved him.
I want to talk about the Big Bang Theory character that they inserted in the movie.
Oh, awesome. As a bat signal, that's your... Oh, shit, sorry. It's your signal. That means we have to go now. Yeah, that's what that means. It's so cool.
I hated him. I hated him so much.
Yeah, so everyone's gonna say, like, I can already hear it.
Star-making performance by Ezra Flashman.
So this is
Everyone's gonna be like, Flash was the best part of Justice
if he's not in
Luckily-
every movie next year, I will kill my entire family.
So do you want to know? Do you want to know what set me off today? The thing that I was like, I don't care if the video's over an hour because
Is
of
everyone
this.
saying that?
No, but I watched one specific video where the guy was like, Barry Allen, he had too many jokes, but I think he's a really interesting character. I think he was on the autism spectrum, which really adds depth to his character. And I was like, oh my god. That's the loop, like that's the mental loop.
I do
you're
not
gonna
think
go
they were
through.
making him autistic.
No, I think they were trying to be funny, and the joke was, oh, look how social.
No,
He's
he's socially awkward and afraid of everything. That
They're
was his
literally
character.
doing the Big Bang Theory thing where they're like, we're gonna make this character weird and nerdy, and we're gonna
Which-
laugh at him. Like,
If I heard that's what they were doing with Flash, I would in no way would be like, that sounds stupid. Like, it's like, okay, fine, Flash can do that because he's a kid. But like every joke he had about that was lame and terrible. Like no matter what. Like,
yeah. Well,
And
and
he
it's
started complaining about brunch, and I was like, "This is in 2004. Who the fuck
And
still
he kept
talks about
talking
brunch?"
about it.
and then they brought it up later like it was a funny joke.
Well, it
the
was written
first
by
time.
Zack Snyder, who is fucking 50, so he doesn't know what kids talk about now. So he's like, "Kids are still mad about brunch, right?"
Was it written by
Swipe
Zack
left
Snyder?
on brunch.
He was one of the writers. So was Joss Whedon. Like he's credited. He was credited as a writer, not a director.
And you could tell it was
Yeah.
bad. speaking of horrible dialogue, one of my favorite scenes, because it was just hilarious to think about, and we were talking about how Amy Adams does not deserve Superman, because in the scene where he comes back, he starts describing what life after death is, and she cuts him off and she's like, it's been so rough without you. And he just stops talking about it. He's like, you're right, it was. And it's like, you don't want to know.
I'm about to tell you
Also,
what there is no God.
Also, without
It was blackness.
I am God and I died.
I'm gonna explain to you what life Alec, if I died and I came back to life and I was like, Alec, this is what it was like to be dead. Like, I'm about to tell you the secret of life.
Brian, you have no idea how miserable it was.
I was really bummed out that you died.
Sam Slade, how sad was it when
It was
Brian
pretty
died?
sad. Today I had a sandwich, it didn't have like enough mayo on. Superman, because of all that, though, Superman was the best part of it.
I think it's
one
really
day.
funny that Wonder Woman's like, oh, maybe dying makes you lose a soul, but it literally gives him a soul. Like he started off being
Now he's a nice guy. Now
Yeah,
he's
nice
like,
guy.
man, I love saving people.
That'd be really
He
funny.
had a classic Superman moment when I don't remember what he said, but he walked in and like made fun of the belittled the bad guy. Like I don't remember what he said, but that's like Superman does all the time. where it's
It'd
like,
actually be
it's
really
like,
funny.
You think you're so great? I am Superman,
if they
I can fucking kill you whenever I want.
and I love doing it.
if they kept up with that idea that dying makes you lose a part of yourself, and Superman's like, I'm not myself anymore, guys. You have no idea. I'm
like killing people.
I'm trapped inside of this nice person's body.
I smile like I want to do things that are.
Everyone's like, Superman, you're so much more nice now after you die.
They really
I
could have.
can't.
They really could have made that a really cool moment because when Superman shows up, he keeps beating the crap out of Steppenwolf, but keeps leaving to do other stuff, so the tension stays there. That would have been an interesting way to end it if the whole movie, the Justice League, is getting the shit kicked out of him by Steppenwolf, and when Superman
That's what I was
shows up,
thinking was gonna happen.
just immediately,
Yeah, I said that last night on the way home.
just shits all over him.
Which I would have been totally cool with that.
And they like all this stuff with the cubes, and they come up with this whole elaborate plan, and Superman just shows up and just melts his brain. It's just like,
Well, there he's there. That's
all
it.
right,
That's-
sweet.
Going back to the beginning, it spends way too much time introducing you. This has been said a bunch of times, but the Marvel movies have the luxury of having several movies haven't been made by the time the first Avengers came out. This movie didn't, and so they had to go through, alright, this is The Flash, this is Cyborg, this is Aquaman.
They had 3 movies before it, and 2 of them were about the same person.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing ever. I can't. That movie is the worst thing I've ever seen. Like I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, that is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
But here's the thing, like, Justice League is not the worst movie I've ever seen in theater, but it's still the one that made me the closest to walking out of it. Because it's just so sloppy and incompetent and incomprehensible, and I was like, I know what's going to happen at the end, it's boring, and I just want to go. I don't want to be here anymore. Like, Wonder Woman, I hated Wonder Woman, but I never wanted to leave because I was like, I have to know how this shit show is going to end.
Yeah.
But Justice League, it's like, it's going to end one way. Who cares? The movie's not going to get better. I'm not going to be more interesting if I finish this movie.
Also,
So Justice League, right?
Right.
After that opening scene, they do the whole thing where they play the song and show like what the world is like with no Superman.
And it looks the same, by the way.
Yeah, it looks the same. It's just depressing still.
It's
And
just like signs for where's Superman.
So regardless of what anyone thinks of the Watchmen movie, that part where they play the fucking Bob Dylan song is awesome because it sets the tone for the whole movie and it sets up the world without any dialogue from the characters. You know exactly this is the world we're in. This is the tone of the movie. This is the type of movie it's going to be. This world is fucked up. Superheroes are crazy people.
yeah.
This world's crazy, and the song's perfect. Zack Snyder gets a lot of shit for just taking songs that just are way too perfect, where it's like it just describes. It's just, but in that context of that scene, it's perfect.
That is undeniably perfect.
That scene is awesome, and he tries to do the same thing here, and it sucks. There's a part where like this guy kicks a bunch of fruit, and it's shot
slow
in a-
motion.
And the
and it's
cops
shot
are like, no, stop kicking that fruit.
Him
Stop
kicking that fruit is shot in a way where it's like he's murdering someone.
Yep.
Where it's like, no, he kicked that fruit.
The way it was
in front
shot,
of that
I
person.
genuinely thought he was just gonna pull out a gun and shoot the cops, and that little
But
girl.
no, he kicks.
But yeah, every supervillain was like, I need to know a world without Superman, what the world's like without Superman. It's that. It's a guy kicking fruit. It's some newspapers that say
It's a
David
homeless-
Bowie's dead and Superman's dead.
It's
Alright, thanks for joining us.
Zack Snyder stole a bit from us. He
Oh, yeah.
stole so.
Oh yeah.
One of our hit short films that we made in 2016, a very
our most beloved.
an indie kind
By
of
all of
niche,
us in here too.
an indie kind of niche movie that we made called Children of Liberty has a character that sounds
Features a baby that is Aquaman.
that sounds just like Aquaman.
This is why I brought you together. Ride ain't over yet. My man. Yeah! All right. Get some.
Like the movie's not even worth watching to make fun
Yeah,
of it because it's
no.
a joyless experience.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say with my closing thoughts, I've been actively telling people not to see it. Like, there's no reason to see it, and I don't want this movie to make any money. Like, it sucks. It
I'm
just
glad
sucks.
we saw it at the 4-star.
My last note actually was there was two parts that I kind of got a little excited, but then the excitement went away obviously because the rest of it's shit. But like there were two moments, and when Commissioner Gordon turned on the bat signal, it went da na 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 na. I'm like that.
yeah.
I'm like that is the Batman theme. I'm like that's really cool. I hope it comes back in full swing later. And then it didn't. And then when Superman showed up, there was a
Yeah, it did the
Remember
same
how
thing. In the best part of
Remember how
the
J.K. Simmons got fucking ripped for the role, but he was in it for 30 seconds and he was wearing a peacoat.
See,
the whole
I was
time?
wondering about that. Did J.K. Simmons get
No,
ripped
he
from the
said
role?
he didn't get ripped for the role. He got ripped because he wanted to get ripped.
God, he's
He
jacked.
got jacked for himself.
yeah.
Not for anyone else, dude.
That was pure self-control, jacked.
How great would it have been if Steppenwolf like beats all of them, right? And then like if Nirvana beats all of them, right? And then suddenly there's bum and you're like, what? And then somebody just throws and just sits there like, what's that? Bum and you're like, oh shit, Superman's coming in. Just
Especially with the fact
like-
that when Superman comes in,
like why not play it up?
He
Like
pulls
have
the
fun
classic
with it.
Superman, and he like says a funny thing about.
Yeah,
and then
he
melts his head, and then
he
melts
even
his
goes
head.
as far as that, you know. And I'm like, why not just go all the way?
See, that would have been cool, but it also would just go so far into the fan service realm. Like this movie already had a shit ton of that.
At that point, I wouldn't care because at least
Yeah,
it's
same here.
a
Different
different
fan service in the opposite direction.
It is probably the worst movie I've seen in theaters this year, but it's different. I don't think I have the energy to hate it. Like I
Feel
just don't.
defeated.
Yeah, I just don't care. I'm just like I want to forget about this movie. It's not like Wonder Woman where at the end of it I was fired. I got a little fired up after seeing some people defend it, but it wasn't like the holy shit I have to put my boxing gloves on.
I think
Let's
we would
fucking
feel the
duke
same
it
way
out.
if everyone was like Justice League just as good as Wonder Woman, the most amazing movie we've ever seen.
Feminist movie since Wonder Woman.
Here's the thing.
It saved women
Just
from
wait.
covering their midriff.
Just wait. Some people might. Some people like.
Not enough.
Well, no,
Like,
some
well, no,
people like it.
some people will like.
It's not 98%
Yeah,
on Rotten Tomatoes and everyone's sucking
It's
it.
not.
it's
It
not
has
as
saved
much.
women in movies. Women weren't in movies until this movie came out. It's not that.
Like first Avatar, now Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So closing thoughts. This movie can suck a fucking dick.
Sweet, so SpaceX.
Zero.
Oh, zero, yeah.
Zero.
Zero space egg.
This gets. If I could give negative space eggs, I would fucking give it a negative 20.
Illegal. You cannot do that. Illegal.
I'm saying if.
I'm just saying it's an illegal.
I was saying if.
I'm gonna give it a 12. 12 SpaceX.
You're a sellout.
You're sellout. You're a DC fanboy.
Well, I'm a Marvel fanboy, so I'm gonna give it an 8.
Is this the first flatline?
I gave it 12.
No, you.
No,
I
Rogue One got a 0.
Yeah, you gave it 8. I gave it 12.
That's true. That's a positive score, dude. Go see Justice League.
Go see Justice League. See it in IMAX.
Okay.
Bring your wife, bring your kids, bring your
It's
grandma.
a perfect movie.
Bring your parole officer, and you know what? You'll be like, here's some weed, here's some meth and a gun. You've earned it.
I hate myself.
Justice League.
Approved by Uncle Mickey. Approved.
It is approved.
Why are we bound by this numerical rating?
We were gonna watch 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, but now I'm like, I don't want to see that gay art shit. I want to watch Justice League and I want to watch Superman shoot his laser beam.
I want to keep seeing him shoot laser beams.
Wow, Superman froze that guy. Did you see that?
I
Wasn't it cool when Batman drove his car and shotgun?
He was like, follow me, you damn bug.